Whoopi Goldberg, Susan Sarandon, Dolly Parton, Marilyn Monroe, and Hillary Clinton. What do all of these ladies have in common? They all live or lived in excruciating pain once a month that lasted for days. They all had endometriosis. Endometriosis is a chronic disease with no known cause and no known cure. According to the Endometriosis Association website, over 6.3 million women and girls in the United States are affected by the disease. Endometriosis is where the endometrial cells grow and form tissue on the outside of the uterus and other pelvic organs. In a healthy female, the endometrial cells form a lining on the inside of the uterus, which forms a tissue, and if the egg is fertilized, then this forms the sac for the baby. If not, it is shed and it ending the menstrual cycle. As long as I can remember, my life revolved around my menstrual cycle. I never wanted to do anything or go anywhere because I was probably going to be in pain. I just wanted to stay in bed with my heating pad. When I was 16, I actually had a doctor tell me the pain was all in my head. And then at 19, I found the best doctor ever, and he diagnosed me with endometriosis. I'm going to discuss with you today why endometriosis is not easily detected, what the symptoms are, and what are some known treatments. It is not easily detected. According to the government website for women's health, it cannot be seen by an x-ray or felt by an exam. However, ultrasounds can show signs of fluid buildup and enlarged uterus. There's only one sure way to find endometriosis, and that is through a laparoscopy. This is where a surgeon will make a small incision in the bottom of the abdomen and insert a laparoscope, which is a small telescope with a light on it, and this is in order for them to be able to actually see the endometrial tissue growing. But what makes a doctor think a woman has endometriosis? Well, this brings me to the symptoms. Of course, I've already said the pain. The pain during menstrual cycle, intercourse, and exams. The pain is excruciating. If you could imagine a boa constrictor wrapping itself around your abdomen and holding on for dear life and never letting go, that is the comparison to the pain of endometriosis. The second symptom is spotting and bleeding between menstrual cycles. This is what took me to the doctor for the first time when I was 19. I thought I was having a menstrual cycle every 2 weeks. After 6 weeks, I finally went to the doctor where he referred me to a gynecologist and they found the endometriosis. The third, and probably the most detrimental, is infertility. Dolly and Marilyn were victims of this symptom. I spent years listening to my doctor tell me he didn't know if I was ever going to have any kids. He would always tell me I was one of the worst cases he ever saw. But I wasn't the worst. She had 2 kids. And he would tell me that, I think, to give me hope. But in the back of my mind, I really never knew. He could never guarantee I was ever going to have kids. But I'm blessed up here today to say that I was on the other end of the spectrum from Dolly and Marilyn, and I was able to have 3 kids, very healthy, and conceived naturally. This brings me to why I believe I had my babies. And this is because I sought treatment. Many women don't know that there is treatment for the pain that they live with every month, but there is. The first set of treatments I'm going to tell you about is the burning of the tissue. Many doctors during the laparoscopy will actually go in with the laser and burn the tissue around the uterus and around the pelvic organs. I've had this done 4 times, and it is very successful in that it does alleviate a lot of the pain. It is just not a cure. Like I said, there's no known cure, but it does help. The second treatment I want to talk to you about is the Lupron Depot. And what this is a medication that sends women into menopause. Doctors discovered years ago that later in life, when women would go into menopause, the endometriosis would disappear. So they came up with the Lupron Depot shot, and they administer it once a month for 6 months and send the women into menopause. I've had this treatment done twice, and both times it was very successful in that it sent my endometriosis into remission, but unfortunately it returned both times. The third treatment, of course, is a hysterectomy. And most people say that that's a cure. But like I said before, there is no known cure. And that's because the endometrial cells kind of work like cancer cells and they spread over your body. So even if they remove the source of the endometrial cells, your uterus, they are still there and they attach to the other organs. There's actually been cases to where they have found it in the liver, the lungs, and even the brain. To conclude, I want to tell you a little bit about a young lady named Christy Ann Rose. She suffered with endometriosis for 12 years. She was full of life, loved nature and photography. She lit up a room anytime she entered it. She always thought of others until her physical pain became too much to bear and too great to endure, and she committed suicide on May 7, 2009 at 31 years old. I read about Christy on the Living with Endometriosis website's Falling Endo Sisters memorial page, published on March 21, 2010. I hope this helped you to understand a little bit more about endometriosis, and knowing that is not easily detected, some of the symptoms and the treatments are available. Maybe one day you can help a lady who lives with the pain and suffering of endometriosis. Thank you.